People really don't know what their expenses will be because they don't know how long that they're going to live.
Americans are worried they won't have enough saved for retirement now more than ever.
Retirement is going to cost, for many folks, over $1 million.
Is no sure thing in investing, but a lot of people think that annuities may come close to that.
It's going to more safe things that they know. If they know they're going to need that money to supplement their retirement, well, then you can't play that risk.
This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Hesichman Sr., founder and partner of Hesichman Financial Services, serving the Columbus and surrounding areas. Jon specializes in educating pre-retirees and retirees about safe money strategies and ideas. Now, it's the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Here's Jon Hesichman Sr.
Good morning. Welcome to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm your host, Jon Hesichman. Do you have too many retirement accounts? I want to talk about that in today's show. When you hear too many retirement accounts, the first thing that you might think of, gee, I should be so fortunate. But I'm going to give you some ideas on how to correct the problem of too many retirement accounts. But first, I want to mention that there is still some very attractive interest rate plans for money that you're not going to need for 3 or 5 years. And it can compare very favorably to CDs and money markets. Short-term fixed annuity rates, anywhere between 5.5% to 6%, depending on the term, 3 or 5 years. Compound interest with tax deferral. Now that's important because you're not going to get a 1099 at the end of the year when it's tax deferred. This time of year, a lot of CDs mature, and if your new rates are not at 5.5, then give me a call. I can introduce you to the fixed annuity, shopping the market for the best rate. 888-426-0177, 888-426-0177. And many of the top companies offering these higher rates will go down to $10,000 minimum issue. All right. Let's say you have too many retirement accounts. And believe it or not, many do fit this category. A couple of old IRAs, a 401k that you haven't rolled over yet, putting yourself in a situation where you have more accounts than you know what to do with. How does this happen? Well, throughout your working years, you've had several different options to save for retirement. And of course, we've all been told you need to diversify, which is the key to retirement success. And as a result, many savers find themselves with multiple retirement accounts. Let me give you an example. Possibly 3 CDs, a money market account, several annuities, couple of IRAs, a 401k or a 403b, and let's throw in a couple of brokerage accounts that could include some mutual funds, possibly a total of 10 separate retirement accounts. And for some, this could end up being a retirement mess. But you might be thinking, wow, 10 different accounts. That's diversification. Yes, however, having too many retirement accounts is a high-quality problem, but a problem nonetheless. When it's time to convert some of your savings into an income stream, several important considerations must be taken into account. And that's what we need to look at in designing a retirement plan. So I want to give you a few challenges that are caused by having too many retirement accounts. It's important to determine which account you should spend first and how you should withdraw that money when the time comes to use some or all of your retirement accounts to supplement your retirement income. The more retirement accounts you own, the more difficult it will be to make those good choices. And I think one of the biggest and most common retirement mistakes is withdrawing interest only from your non-qualified CDs, annuities, money market accounts, and other interest-bearing accounts. I say non-qualified, basically that means non-retirement accounts, whereas qualified money would be IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, TSP plans. Now, taking the interest only, it may seem like a good idea because you're going to still have the entire principal. Here's the problem. All of the interest you withdraw will be considered taxable income. With CDs and money market accounts, the interest is currently taxable whether or not you take it out. Somewhere along the line, you're going to have to pay that interest earned. Non-qualified savings accounts can be consolidated into one tax-deferred account that will only be taxed when you choose to withdraw that money, which these type of accounts are considered last in, first out rule. At the beginning of the show, I mentioned tax-deferred annuities. Here is a perfect example. This means when you choose to take withdrawals, they're going to be considered taxable interest until the entire amount of your interest earnings has been removed. The advantage of tax deferral is you can decide when the tax is due by making withdrawals when it best fits into your plan. If you have multiple or even one or two of these type of accounts, you're fortunate because once the interest is paid, you're into the principal. It's a tax-free source of income. Unfortunately, the majority of us have qualified money representing most of our accounts because over the years, we've contributed to an IRA. Our employer has given a 401k, 403b. We took advantage of that, put a lot of money into it. It's all taxable when it comes out. So we just haven't accumulated a lot of non-qualified money. That's why it's so important to look at all of your accounts, even if you're retired, to see if consolidation works for you. It's really part of a plan. I put together a review of those plans, taking a look at where can you consolidate that is going to be in your best interest, both now and in retirement and later on in retirement. 888-426-0177. That number again is 888-426-0177. In addition, we want to control your taxable income after retirement because there could be additional tax benefits. The more taxable income you have, the more likely you're going to find yourself in a higher tax bracket. If your taxable income exceeds the Social Security income limit, you might be forced to pay tax on more of your Social Security benefits. So choosing the right account will be less of a challenge if you consider some accounts and use income strategies that's going to lower your overall tax bill. Many times, Social Security and the potential of additional tax from that money is overlooked. So it has to be taken into consideration. If not, your retirement plan hasn't included tax planning, because the majority of retirees have the majority of their money, in many cases, all of their money, in qualified taxable accounts. It's very important to determine how to calculate the required minimum distribution from those multiple qualified accounts. And that's when mistakes happen, because the minimum amount is not calculated correctly, or one or two are missed. And that's what we're going to prevent. After the break, I'm going to discuss required minimum distributions from multiple qualified accounts. So stay tuned. I'll be right back after the short break.
Thanks for listening to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Hesichman. For more information, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Or visit their website at HeichmanFS.com. More of the Safe Money and Retirement Show in a moment.
Avoiding mistakes can save owners of IRAs, 401ks, and TSP plans, as well as other retirement plans, a fortune in taxes, penalties, fees, and loads. These potential mistakes are addressed in the free book entitled Top 10 IRA Mistakes. This is Jon Hesichman from the Safe Money and Retirement Show, offering a complimentary copy by calling 888-426-0177. Again, that's 888-426-0177.
Life expectancy is at all-time highs, so that means you've got a future to plan for at any age. If you have longevity in your family tree, then you need financial education from someone with the experience and knowledge to guide you into and through your retirement years. Jon Hesichman and the folks at Hesichman Financial Services are committed to helping you achieve your retirement goals with a low-key and trustworthy approach. Call Hesichman Financial Services today to get started on your retirement future. Call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Hesichman Financial Services has your future in mind.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Hesichman. To contact Jon, the number to call is 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Once again, here's Jon Hesichman.
This is Jon Hesichman with the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm back for the second part of our show. Now, I've been discussing consolidating retirement accounts. And I must say, in most cases, I've been able to consolidate and provide better benefits and potentially higher rate of returns. Why is that? It's mainly because of the enhancement of new contracts and some of those old, outdated IRAs. By consolidating, it's going to have more benefits to you on and above consolidating. I want to continue by determining how to calculate required minimum distributions from multiple qualified accounts. And by the way, the book I sponsor, Top 10 IRA Mistakes, How to Avoid IRA Tax Traps, this topic is outlined in this book. So those of you that haven't received your copy of the Top 10 IRA Mistakes, give me a call. I'll have that book sent out to you. No cost and no obligation. 888-426-0177, 888-426-0177. Okay. Required minimum distributions, known as RMDs. This can be tricky if you own more than one type of retirement account. For example, you may own several IRAs, a 401k and a 403b. So if you had just one IRA, this would be 3 different types of qualified retirement plans. Let's say each account was worth $100,000 for a combined total of $300,000. I want to keep the math simple. So assume your required minimum distribution for the current year is 5%. Now that means you're going to need to take out bare minimum of $15,000, $5,000 per account, just for this current year. You must take the required amount from each of these 3 accounts. In other words, you cannot take $15,000 from just one account to satisfy the RMD for all 3 accounts, even though the total distribution would be the same either way. If all 3 accounts were IRAs, you would then have the option to choose the account from which you take your RMD. And that's because there are restrictions on the 401k and 403b. But again, if all 3 accounts were IRAs, then you could choose to take that $15,000 from one account and it would satisfy the requirement for all 3. You can also choose to roll that 401k and 403b into one IRA, or depending on the restrictions of your existing IRA, you might be able to roll the 401k and 403b into that IRA. Now you have one IRA account, one required minimum distribution each year. For those of you that do have old 401ks or 403bs or both, in my opinion, they should be rolled over to an IRA or even an existing IRA if allowed. You're going to have greater flexibility and simplify your choices when it's time to take the required minimum distribution. The more retirement plans you own, the greater your chance of making big retirement mistakes is there. And we don't want you to get in trouble with the IRS and have to pay the penalty because you miscalculated the RMD, or because you have so many retirement accounts, you failed to remember to take the RMD out of one of those accounts. While we're consolidating, it's important to determine whether you'll have enough money for a comfortable retirement. It's a big concern for those who are not fortunate enough to have retirement income from company-sponsored retirement plans. If you don't have a company-sponsored retirement plan, or if you didn't have one, typically you'll have multiple IRAs. Perfect situation for consolidation. The retired worker who has a defined benefit pension plan will receive a designated amount each year for the rest of their life. Unfortunately, the days of the big company pension plans are all but gone. As these type of plans continue to disappear each year, more retiring Americans, they're going to need to depend on their IRAs and 401ks, as I mentioned, multiple IRAs, in order to supplement their Social Security. Having these accounts spread all over the place will just compound the problem. Before determining the amount of income you need to take from your savings, you need to know how much you have in these accounts. Some accounts may be growing while others are shrinking. These fluctuating account balances, I need to take those into consideration for you when making income decisions and putting together that income plan. If you take too much out too soon, you run the risk of running out of income during your retirement years. When the account's empty, the income from that account will stop. Consolidating your accounts can simply help eliminate this problem, and it does make the income decisions less of a task. Another big reason for consolidating, there's a good chance your risk tolerance has changed, as it typically does. The older we get, the closer we get to retirement, and in retirement, you want to preserve your wealth, your retirement accounts that you've built up over those working years, and several of those accounts may not meet your change in risk tolerance. Your risk tolerance has changed. You want to be more conservative, less risky, because you want to keep what you have that's going to generate future retirement income. It's a great time to adjust risk based on your risk tolerance. It's actually a very easy process when you consolidate retirement plans. It's called a transfer, a tax-free transfer from 2 accounts to 1 or 3 accounts to 1. And I always take care of the paperwork, making sure the transfer goes through, following the process until it's completed. So really, there's nothing for you to do as far as making those changes. In this process, it's a great time to set up the guaranteed lifetime income benefit, which you probably don't have on those older accounts. If you take annuities, for example, they could be old and outdated. They probably don't have the benefits that the new contracts have today and don't have the potential for the higher returns and rates that I'm seeing today. If it's in your best interest, those can be consolidated as well. So there is so much to be said about consolidating retirement accounts and how it's going to benefit your retirement plan. Give me a call. We can talk about that. If you're in that situation that I've been talking about, an IRA or two, maybe a 401k, 403b, a TSP plan. I know it sounds like a lot, but believe me, there are so many retirees in that situation that have all of those accounts. It can really simplify your life and eliminate the potential for mistakes. 888-426-0177. And don't forget to request the book, Top 10 IRA Mistakes, How to Avoid IRA Tax Traps. 888-426-0177. Thanks for listening to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Let me know what questions or concerns you have. I'm your host, Jon Hesichman.
The Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Hesichman Sr. To get in touch with Jon, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. For more information about Hesichman Financial Services, visit their website, HeichmanFS.com. That's HeichmanFS.com. Join us again next time for the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Hesichman Sr.